So we should be live. Good evening, everybody. Hello, and welcome to another Fellowship of Fans stream. I cannot say it's been a while this time because we've had a stream recently, and it's great that we are doing this a bit more regularly now. So yeah, welcome to everybody. Thank you for being with us. And yeah, tonight we have some cool little new news to talk about regarding mainly Rings of Power, and maybe we'll have some extra bits of things to talk about a bit later on. But here with me tonight we have Chiv. Hello.
Hello, hello. Happy to be here.
We have you here. And we also have Aidan. Hello.
Hello, I'm actually even happier to be here than Shiv is.
Wow.
All right. Let's do
See
a
about
little
that.
Yeah, not that it's a competition, but if it
or
is, I'm
or
winning.
happiness, a happy killing contest tonight. um, also with us we have Chris. Good evening, sir. Welcome to our streams. Chris has been with us for a while, but as far as I understand things, this might be your first stream. So
It is.
welcome.
It is, and I'm happy to be here. Might not be as happy as the other guys. They are super happy, but I am. But I am. I'm going to try to compete for trying to be the most happy, for sure.
I am happier even than Chris. So it's a tough competition today.
All right. Well, awesome to have you here. I will figure out how to get your icon on the screen. I don't usually do these, so
Okay.
forgive for any technical difficulties. And also with us we have our good old friend Ulmo. Hello there.
Hello, hello. How are you guys doing?
Very
You
happy
know,
apparently.
yeah. Are you
Yeah,
happy?
I mean, I was happy, and then I saw D in the chat, so I was like,
Wow.
could be better.
It'd be a shame if your tides get messed up today.
Listen, I have some news for you in the third or fourth season.
Oh.
Ooh,
Oh no.
All right. Well,
foreshadowing.
He's brewing.
just right from the start, we have a super chat from Simon or Simon. I don't know which country you're from, so how do you pronounce your name? But still, thank you very much. Oh, Canadian. Okay. I still don't know. It could be either English pronunciation or French, I guess. But still, thank you very much. Yeah, hail to season 3. It will be most likely be the biggest and best yet. And yeah, we're looking forward to it. There's some cool things to discuss for tonight. And yeah, actually, let me get the bit of information here on the screen. Again, if you'll forgive me, I'm not as tech savvy as our local wizard Harry, because he is the real wizard here. Okay, so the first bit of news is that the principal photography begins next week. Here we go. So, oh, yeah, big news. I guess it's odd that we still haven't had like the. I mean, and at this point we will not have the confirmation of, oh yeah, season 3 is renewed. It's happening. Like we've known it's been happening for quite a long time at this point. But yeah, we have news that
Mm.
principal photography begins next week. So Shiv, your thoughts?
Definitely excited because once
How much
filming
happier are you now?
starts. Oh, I'm up one notch now. I think I'm happier than Aiden, at least right now. What?
Jeez.
One thing I am excited about is when filming starts, the sneaky leakers start as well. So we might be getting set photos more so than the drone shots we've been seeing online. So looking forward to that.
All right. Yeah, I think that's this is where the fun begins, right? But
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
speaking of adding a bit more fun to this, just a quick mention, there have already been some small shoots over the last week. But yeah, proper
Mm.
principal photography starting next week. That comes from one of our sources, and yeah, that's regarding this. But I want to hear from Aidan. Let's see. Where are you at now compared to Chiv and compared to
I
yourself
guess
half
I'm
an
not
hour
as
ago?
excited anymore. Yeah, I guess the wind's been taken out of my sails a little bit, so I'm not gonna try to play it up anymore. I'm more complacent now, but I am excited that we don't have to mince words about filming anymore. I think that
Mm.
this gave me flashbacks to when season 3 hadn't been officially confirmed yet, and there were all those posts going around. You know, every 2 weeks or so on Twitter, you'd see officially confirmed, and it was never
Mm.
actually from like the straight Amazon source. And I've been feeling a lot of that again with filming. I feel like a lot of people have been kind of like up in the air on whether or not filming has officially started yet. And so it is. I am excited that we can finally put that to bed, and I hope that the official Amazon account also posts something to alleviate those fears, because it's been hard having discourse about it. And people are like, "Has it started filming yet?" And I'm like, I don't know. It's maybe.
Yeah, those are fair points. Yeah, now this is it. Like, it's happening. We know it's happening, so we can just properly discuss this without putting on an asterisk here. But let's hear it from Ulmo. When do you think? So it's very obviously extremely early in the process. It's basically just beginning, like the actual process of filming. So, in your opinion, what do you think? When could we expect the season to come out? And I mean, I would like to actually hear everybody from all of you. So maybe after Ulmo has says his piece, like one of you can just pick up. Maybe let's go to Chris after Ulmo. What are your thoughts? Like, when could we expect this show to give
Um,
us season 3?
my rough idea would be a year and a half, something like that, because you have to take post production into consideration, and that's quite a long time as well, especially with the size of the show, and the amount of VFX shots like you have seen in season 1 and season 2. So this is not like the type of season of show like, for example, Reacher, right? Reacher, they can pump out a season every year because it's relatively easy to do. But this one takes a lot of more efforts and a lot more people as well. Plus, if I'm not mistaken, they're gonna start shooting in the studios that they've been building for Amazon as well. So that's why I'm kind of iffy about the whole entire
Mm.
leak situation. Because while the drone shots were amazing for season 2 and stuff like that, unless they're gonna shoot outside 100% for a certain shot, we're not gonna be able to get as many leaks, I'm afraid.
Right. Yeah.
Well, if you were the god of eagles and clouds, maybe that you could help us out. But I
Yeah,
guess
but
you're
I
mainly
said only
focused
water.
on
Okay,
waters.
listen.
Yeah.
If they shoot in water, I can give you some help, but I don't. Okay, like I'm asking my friend Manuel here, but he's very busy, so I'm just
Well,
yeah, whatever.
try to work out your magic over there, please. That would be good. What about you, Chris? Do you have any general thoughts about this? And what are your hopes versus what is like? Is there a discrepancy
Mm.
between your hopes when we get the season and when you think we will actually get it?
Hmm. Definitely, because like I would want it tomorrow, but I know that's not going to happen. So I was thinking September. I'm thinking next September, right? That's usually when they air the new season. I don't know if they're going to be able to make that, considering how late into the process that they're actually filming this time compared to the last season and the season before, obviously. But I'm thinking September. I think the summer is great. The late summer into fall period is great for TV shows to really get their audiences like in order. I don't know if they're going to be able to make that though. September is quite a it's not that far away, but I don't think it's going to make it. What I will say though is that 2026 at some point it will release, right? It could be November, it could be December, but I think they're going to make the 2026 time period. I think they're going to make 2026. I don't think it's going to be 2027. I think that's too far. I think that's too far and a long way away. I don't think they're going to make it. I mean, I think they're going to make 2026. That would be my bet.
All right. Well, as I said, like I think I mean it's hard to figure this out. I guess the fact that they are now settled in UK, things should maybe move a bit faster than they did relative to how the filming of season 2 went. But I guess we cannot. It's hard to guess at this point. Shiver, Aidan, do you have any thoughts on this? Like, do you have maybe like something that we haven't mentioned or some other factor that we should consider? Because with these things, there's always like an extra thing that you should kind of, we should keep this in
Yeah.
mind or that. So,
I mean, there's always the aspect of digital effects, and Rings of Power obviously uses quite a few with generated landscapes and creatures, and those take a long time to do, especially if you want them to look good. And it definitely feels like Rings of Power prides himself on having really high quality special effects. And that's another hard thing to gauge because, one of the examples going around right now in superhero movies is a lot of people are comparing how Marvel kind of handles it, where when they, I'm trying to remember I think it was Superman and Fantastic Four. Around this time last year, they were saying that Superman had just finished principal photography and was beginning on visual effects, and Fantastic Four had just started filming, and they both are coming out around the same time this year. So there's clearly, different timetables, different ways of approaching it. I don't know what the production timeline looks like for a show like Rings of Power, but yeah, it does make me a little hesitant to say that we're going to get the same time slot we've got the last 2 years. I saw someone mention end of 2026, maybe December 2026. I think that honestly might not be too far off, because if they're only starting to film now, they're probably not going to be done. I can't recall the exact number off the top of my head, but I did at one point know the numbers of how long they spent in principal photography for both season 1 and season 2. And I think it was around 5 to 6 months, if not 7 months each time. So if they just start now, they're not going to be done till, early January or February of next year. And getting all of those special effects and digital aspects created in less than a year could be a tall order, or maybe they've finally gotten in their stride. I mean, there is a chance that they've generated enough assets. Numenor, for example, I'm sure they've got a lot of background elements and assets that are generated that they don't need to build from scratch for those like landscape shots. It's just a lot of rendering at that point. So, I don't claim to have enough insider knowledge into the industry to know the exact timetable, but I would say that I'm probably leaning on the late 2026, maybe early 2027. I don't know.
What do you think? I mean, I think we kind of got it from all angles, but maybe you can give us like an average sum of all of these thoughts. Also, Aidan, I'm just seeing your shirt, and I think I like it very, very much. That's a good shirt.
Gotta represent.
The White Tree of Gondor. Let's go.
Nice. I'm just going to be a contrarian and say January 1st, 2026. That way we get it sooner. But yeah, it's probably.
That's what I'm talking about.
But yeah, it's probably Q3, Q4 if I had to guess of 2026. But yeah, good things take time, so we'll be patient and we'll get some leaks in between there to hold us over, I'm sure. Maybe some cool interviews. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. That is what we do. I would also like to just point out something cool that has happened actually extremely recently, basically less than 2 hours ago. Well, here you go. So Alex Diesenhoff, the main cinematographer of Rings of Power Season 3, has liked the post for this video. So yeah, maybe Alex is is watching. So if so, good evening.
So thank
you for being with us.
It's either confirmation or he's laughing.
Yeah, it's one of those. Either way, like if you want to pop to the chat, maybe with like an alias, confirm or not, you're welcome. But either way, we look forward to seeing your work. that's a tall order. Let's be honest, that's a tall order. This show, if it has been anything from the beginning, it has been absolutely gorgeous, and it's going to be really cool to see Alex and how their work will turn out. And we are very excited to see that. So if you can make Shiv's wishes a reality, we would all be very, very grateful. Yeah.
Oh, I don't think he wants to pop into the chat after Shiv said January 2026. That probably gave him a heart attack hearing that.
I mean, who knows?
Alex, don't rush.
Maybe we are just
take your sweet time.
Maybe we are just all 6 months too late. Maybe the filming started like already half a year ago, and then maybe January isn't too bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first 2 episodes of season 2, the cinematography, which was done by Alex, was breathtaking. The shots with Círdan, and actually at the beginning with Halbrand, Sauron going on his little adventure, at the very beginning of the first episode of the second season, was fantastic. It was gorgeous. So props to Alex for a great job.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah,
those are absolutely great points. I mean, the show has been really, really gorgeous, and I mean those shots that you mentioned are some of the best ones. I mean, just seeing Círdan was already a terrific moment. Yeah, I mean, speaking of this, like, do you wanna maybe we can just give a quick shout out to some of our favorite scenes throughout the first and second season. Chris, let's start with you. What comes to mind when we say like amazing cinematography moment in Rings of Power? What comes to mind?
Ooh. I think it was actually, I think it was filmed with Charlotte. Yeah, it was. It was The Eye, episode 7 of season 1, and it was like the opening shot, I think, of Galadriel's eye opening upside down, like with all the ash falling after Mordor like erupts or Mount Doom erupts, and it's just a great shot. And I think Alex was the one to capture it. So once again, magic happened on screen.
Yeah, I mean that whole episode was it had a very specific aesthetic, and I think it was really one of the strongest ones, definitely. So yeah, that I think that's a great contender. Let's just go quickly to Ulmo. What do you think? I'm gonna assume, was it Numenor? All that endless water around and so on?
No, not even. I think for me, one of the best shots was the one where you see Durin jumping at the Balrog. I think that was pretty goated as a shot in the second season. I don't know if Alex did that or not, but whatever. Like that was a very, very good shot in my opinion. So I really like that one. And then beside that, in the first season, I don't know if he did the first season as well or not, but for me the best shot of the first season was, yes, ironically it has to do with water, but I swear I'm not being I'm being neutral here. But it's the one where Galadriel and Sauron are talking to each other, and then you see like the shot of the water, and you see like the reflection of what Galadriel could be together with Sauron. I think that the shot was really cool too.
All right. What about you, Aidan? And then we can go to Shiv right away.
Oh, there are some good moments. It's got to be, for me, I think my favorite cinematography shot in the entire show is in the very first episode of season 1, when Galadriel and Elrond are talking on the cliff, and it randomly shifts to this overhead crane shot going straight down, and you see them on the cliff, and you can see the water beneath them. Like their gowns are like flowing in the leaves, and like the leaves are falling at the same time. It's a very, very picturesque shot. I don't think they've used that camera move again since, as far as I'm aware, but I just remember watching that episode for the first time and getting to that scene. It's kind of right at the beginning and just going, oh yeah, this show is locked in on cinematography.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they use this shot. Maybe somebody can tell us if they use this particular technique, I guess. After that, but actually, I know what Shiv's favorite cinematic moment was. I
I know exactly what you're gonna say.
You beat me to that. Dang. Well, I won't go there then.
was it this
'cause now I'm
moment? I think this is
predictable.
your favorite moment in the whole show was specifically this scene right
How
here.
is season 3 going to top this cinematic masterpiece right here? But if I
Bro, you
had to,
guys are bullying V and she's not even here. Like, for her, bro.
if I had to be serious, I would go with
Yeah.
the prologue entire sequence for season 1 and the reveal of Valinor and all that. Like I was fortunate enough to go to the screening in New York City, and I pretty much died in my seat, and just being surrounded by a bunch of nerds that like saw Valinor for the first time and freaked out. It's just indescribable, and it was such a good shot.
Then when Bear McCreary's like music swells with his
Yes.
shot going over, it was oh my gosh.
So good. And to tie back to Ulmo, the other time that you kind of really felt the music was King Dern versus the Balrog. Like
Mhm.
the music that, so good.
Great
Great
like
scenes.
culmination of beautiful CGI, great music, great acting, all in one. I love that scene as well.
So good.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think the main two moments were there was a lot of terrific scenes. Especially, I like when they do like a lot of these symbolism scenes and like scenes that kind of mirror each other, for example. But the first moment, I mean, this is the first image we saw, or rather, I think it's the one that's a bit further behind, maybe. But it's this scene. I think that's the first image we saw, and I have it on my screen since like 4 or 5 years ago. That's my screen background because I think this opening shot was insane, and then to go to Numenor the first time, and again, Bear McCreary's music, which
Mm-hmm.
it was just perfect. Like the theme of Numenor, it was just absolutely
Oh
wonderful.
man.
And I mean, it is a hard choice. There we go, a man of culture indeed. Though I did expect the previous photo to be there, but okay. So real quick, before we jump into our next bit of news, I'm just gonna do a little, let's say, promotion here. Just a little commercial break. The Save Wheel of Time fan campaign has reached 150,000 I want to say subscribers, 100,000, 50,000, whatever. People have
Signatures.
signed the petition. Sorry, my English is not working that well. So yeah, please join this. Whether you personally enjoyed this show or haven't yet gotten to it, it got really good. It deserved a much better fate. A lot of people have loved it, and the fact that this happened to Wheel of Time, while Rings of Power should probably be safe from this, it's still the same house. It's still Amazon, and trying to help out another big fantasy series, it can only help Rings of Power and any other fantasy show that you like out there. The more competition there is, the more quality TV there is, the more work, more effort people need to put into making their own TV series good. So please go. I'm gonna post this in our chat. It's 5-10 seconds. You can very easily do it, and highly recommend it. We already had a stream recently about this. The third season was absolutely terrific. But enough of this. We can go to the next bit of news. We had some very big casting moments recently, and I'm just gonna put all four of them on screen. These are the four new big cast and crew people who have joined for season 3. So top left we have Jamie Campbell Bower. On the right top we have Mr. Eddie Marson. Below left we have Elena Saurel, and bottom right we have Carl Winsborough. And there we go. That's the news for the later two cast members have come out basically last week. We have announced this, and yeah, Shiv, what do you think? Who are the two new cast members playing? So Elena and Carl. Any theories?
Oof.
And then we can, and from you, we can then, after you're done, we can just jump to Chris.
You know what? I haven't been up too much on the internet, so I don't know how much theories have been flying around this week. I've been so swamped, but you know what? I'm just gonna throw out Numenorians for both of them. And I guess my reasoning there is I'm hoping this season we get Sauron getting captured, sent to Numenor, and all that. It would be nice to see that, but so if we were to do stuff like that, there most likely be more Numenorian plot lines. We also had Elendil walking away from like the major city, so there's a potential that he's going to go to where his other son is, Anarion, right? So yeah, maybe that's where my head's heading at, is maybe we're gonna get to see the other side of the island and meet some more Numenorians there.
Aidan, what about you?
Sorry, one sec. Sorry. I've been seeing this this theory floating around on the internet. I don't know who started it, that Elena Sarl is going to be playing Celeborn. I mean, I think it was actually posted officially by Fellowship of Fans. So, as far as I'm aware, that seems to be the lock-in right there.
Oh, breaking news right here on
I mean-
Fellowship of Fans.
I don't know who made it. I just saw this graphic floating around on Twitter, so it seems like it's an official confirmation. I mean, Fellowship of Fans has never led me astray on castings before, so it's I'm just gonna put my whole heart and soul into it, and if it's not true, then there is going to be hell to pay.
Yeah, we're gonna need some water here, Ulmo, for that burn here. Aidan coming in hot.
No, but I mean, in all seriousness, yeah, I think that probably minor characters based off of the nature of the casting announcement, and I think Prime themselves made more of a little bit of a bigger deal about Jamie Campbell Bower and
Marson, yeah.
Eddie Marson when their casting was announced. So it definitely seems like they're going to be more principal characters this season. So, I mean, it really could be anyone. I mean, just looking off their photos, I feel like it's so hard to typecast people, because I could easily see either of them being an elf, a Numenorian, a Harfoot. I'd say probably not a dwarf unless they go like a Nori kind of direction. But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely hard to speculate.
Yeah, fair enough. Chris, what do you think? Do you have any thoughts, or have you seen any interesting theories about who these two new castings could be playing?
Bold guess. Elf and Numenorian. I think that Elena will probably be an elf. She has that kind of aura, I guess. And then I think the faithful might have a little bit bigger role. I think he's in a little bit more productions than Elena has been. A little bit bigger name. He'll probably be on the side on the side of the island where Elendil's going to go, where he finds Anarion. So yeah, that'll be my guess. Elena, Elf, Carl, Numenorian, faithful in particular.
All right, and those are pretty solid theories, to be honest. I'm probably kind of leaning the similar way, but let's see what our resident sea god has to say about this. Ulmo, what do you think? Do we have at least one
I
of these that's seaworthy Numenorian?
Yeah, I don't think so. No, for me, honestly, I think that Carl has that facial structure that makes me think for an elf as well. Maybe I'm just going crazy here, but when I look at Carl, it kind of reminds me of Ishmael Cordova a bit. Like I
Mm.
can see him with pointy ears. I mean, if he shaves his beard and everything, but I can see that. Elena too, I guess. My guess would either be two elves or two Numenorians of some sort. So yeah, I don't know. It's pretty wide as a search, I would say.
All right. Well, I guess those are the strongest theories overall. I mean, it would be interesting, like even if one of them maybe ends up playing like some kind of a hobbit, because let's not forget, I think so far we have seen Harfoots and Stewards. There is the third family, the third tribe of the hobbits called Falahides, or I'm not sure what's the English pronunciation in English. Falahides. But anyway,
Yep.
we could
That's
end up seeing them like in third season. I think that's probably a solid bet.
She
Third or
does
fourth, I
look
guess.
similar to Markella Kavanaugh. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that, but like the thing with Markella Kavanagh, I was very confused the first time I saw her,
Mhm.
like in some interview or like somewhere on red carpet or something. I was like, who is she? Who is she? Why is everybody like why is everybody like taking so many photos of her? Why is she with Gandalf there like posing with him? What the hell? It's like, oh my god, that's her, because they did such a great job with all
Yeah.
the
Nori.
costuming, with the hair. Like I completely did not realize that this is the same person until like somebody in chat was like, yeah, dude, that's like, I mean, that's been already a couple years ago at this point. Of course, now we know who Markella Kavanagh is, but
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do such another great job where like they completely change the hair, put makeup, like do whatever with the costume and so on, and just like completely change the appearance of one of these actors and make them
See,
into a
I
hobbit.
think I think what's so funny about Markella Kavanagh is that I think it was her, Will Poulter, and Joseph Mall were like the first three cast
Mhm.
members ever
Yep.
announced, and that was way back in the day when it was like they were like, Will Poulter is going to play a human hero named Beldor, and Markella Kavanagh is going to be, I can't remember what her name was, but like it's so funny looking back on that and like all the theories about what the show is going to be, and then for her to end up being like a hobbit is just so funny to me.
We all thought she was going to play Celebrian. Well, I did.
Mm.
I think some other people did as well. But we all thought she was going to play an elf. Definitely
Yeah.
not a Harfoot.
What if Jamie Campbell Bower is a Fallowhide?
Is a Harfoot. Oh,
I would
man.
laugh so hard. It would be so good.
Imagine this plot twist. Yeah, I mean, but before we go to Jamie, I'll save Jamie for last. Speaking of dwarves and this really cool image here, Mr. Eddie Marson, the main theory has been so far that he will be playing Durin's brother. So at the end of season 2, like at like literally in the last 10-15 minutes, we kind of have like small epilogue for like where each of the storylines is kind of going, as a small reminder for people who might have forgotten. Though I wouldn't expect this because we're all a bunch of nerds who are mainly here for the Rings of Power, so probably not, but just in case. And one of the things that comes up is that Durin gets information that his brother is gathering support or something along those lines, and he might be challenging Durin's claim for the throne of Khazad-dûm. And since he wasn't mentioned before, obviously this person now is going to be playing a major role in, or at least it's extremely likely they will be playing a major role in season 3. And when Eddie Marson's casting was announced, people instantly jumped into theorizing that he might be indeed Turin's brother. And yeah, what do you think of this? Does anybody, yeah, how do you feel about it? Aidan, let's go with you.
I mean, it makes sense. It's a role that definitely needs to be cast. I think when looking into season 3, I would say that the 3 most important castings are Durin's brother, Anarion, and Celeborn, because those are the 3 that we know are leading into it and are going to be more important. Celeborn, I guess, is a little more of a out of left field because we technically haven't gotten even any sort of hint that Celeborn is coming back. I just say that more of a just as a Tolkien fan, that if Celeborn doesn't come back in this season, then basically have to resign to the fact that he's probably not going to be in the show until the very end, which I hope is not the case. I try not to dwell too much on the Celeborn thing with the show, is rationalizing over the ideas of where Celeborn is, what happened to him. All the theories and explanations they're all pretty unsatisfying to me. I write every now and then, but I'm not a writer for the show, so I'm not going to claim that I've been able to come up with every good explanation of it. So there's a chance that, they can surprise me and maybe there will be something, but it just feels very unsatisfactory to me that he has just been gone, and even more so barely mentioned. So I'm hoping that he is in it. But so Durin's brother definitely is a box that needs to be checked off, and as well as Anarion. And I am of the opinion that Anarion has already been cast. I think he is I can't remember his name. He was an actor in Game of Thrones. He was on the red carpet for the premiere of Rings of Power season 2. He played the
Was it Tom Taylor?
Yes, Tom Taylor. I'm in that camp. I think that he was cast as Anarion.
Same.
He was planned to be in season 2, and they either ended up cutting his scenes or just decided to wait till the next season. So I think that those 3 that I referenced, the 3 main characters I think we need to set up moving forward, I think have already been cast, and now we're just going to start fleshing out the Merdanias and the Camnirs and all of the side characters.
Someone else is commenting there. Chris, is that you?
Yeah, I mean Tom Taylor, I'm in that club as well for Anarion. He's a really good actor, really young actor, has a lot of potential. Looks kind of like Lloyd Owen in the face a little bit, like a younger Lloyd Owen. I think he could pass as a younger brother to Isildur. Really good actor. I mean, as for Eddie Marson, I don't think he's playing Durin's brother, actually. He just looks a bit too old for that role. I mean, I might be imagining it differently than other people. Could definitely be my fault. But when I know competitive brother to, during the 4th, I'm a tad bit older, if not the same age. I think Eddie Marson looks almost the same age as during the 3rd. So unless, he was born right after, I don't think that's going to be the case. But I think Eddie is going to have maybe even a smaller role than anticipated. But I'll be happy to see him. I think he's going to make a great dwarf.
Real quick, one of the things I think is really interesting about the idea of Tom Taylor being Anarion, for those in the chat that are Game of Thrones fans, Tom Taylor played, I can't remember his first name, but something Stark, and Robert Aramayo played a younger version of Ned Stark. And so if they're both in the show, they both played Starks in Game of Thrones, and they're technically related in the show because Anarion comes from the line of Elros. So I think that's just kind of a cool crossover between the 2 universes.
And Joseph Maul played another Stark, Benjen Stark.
He did.
Ned's brother. So even more of a connection.
Yeah. We would have gotten Sean Bean honestly, in here too, but he's already,
Yeah. If they can just keep pulling actors from House of the Dragon and especially from Game of Thrones, yeah, that show, whatever people can, and I am also of these people, can say about the writing and the quality that had a big drop towards the end of the show, but the cast was stacked with talent, and
Amazing.
getting basically anybody from that show. And let's not forget, our Dark Wizard is actually he was king from
Mance
Beyond
Raider,
the Wall or whatever.
Mance Raider,
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, there's the one of my favorite photos is if I can just try to find it. This insane stack of acting talent. Let me just show you this flex. And like, I mean, I don't think any of these people can be cast in the show, but like, this is like S tier acting across the board,
Right.
just from Lannister
Yeah.
family. Not to mention, I
Yeah.
mean, of
Right.
course, all the others, but like, this is one of my go-to flexes. On like, yeah, Game of Thrones has good stuff.
You know what?
Joffrey's actor doesn't even act anymore, and he's fantastic.
I just heard that
the one role he plays, he's fantastic.
I heard he just came back to acting, and I just had it pop into my head. You know what would be crazy? Him for Glorfindel.
Ooh.
That would be
so
a good rebrand
just
because
sure if I could completely Nikolai Coster-Waldau.
No, the actor played Joffrey. I'm trying to remember his name. It's a
Gleason.
Is it
Gleason.
Gleason?
It's something
Gleason.
Gleason.
Is his name Gleason, I think?
Yeah, he's older now, and I know that
him
one of
as
the
a
things he struggled
Glorfindel,
with, and
that would be interesting.
well, he struggled in Hollywood because he played a villain so well. So like, if he was going to come back, and if
They
he
wanna
wanted to do
typecast him.
fantasy, yeah, playing Glorfindel, who's like the hero of hero elves, would be a really interesting way to come back to acting, I think.
It would be.
There's a guy that. Oh,
yeah, no, please, you can go.
I was just like piggybacking on what you're saying with Game of Thrones having such a fantastic cast. I just realized like 2 days ago that Ralph Ineson, who's going to be playing Galactus in the Fantastic Four movie, fantastic actor. He was fantastic in The Witch. He had a very small role in Game of Thrones. And I'm like, wow, one of the best actors right now working, Ralph Ineson, was on Game of Thrones. I didn't even know it. And he had such a small role. It just shows how stacked that cast truly was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that show was great for many reasons, and cast was one of it. I was just going to mention that I could see the guy who played Jaime Lannister, Nikolai Coster-Waldau, as
I could also
Glorfindel.
see. Yeah,
I
said
feel
that
like
now.
I think it's Jack Gleason, the
Jack Gleason,
guy
yeah.
who played.
I don't know if
played,
I don't know if he's old enough yet
yeah.
to do it. I think you need a certain level
Yeah.
of like wisdom and like timelessness, but he
Yeah.
definitely has elven features, so he could pull off an elf. I think it's just kind of why it popped into my head.
Indeed.
Yeah, I could see it.
So before we go once again to, I think, what's probably the favorite, or like one of the favorite topics to speculate on in the fandom for the last couple of months, which is who Jamie Campbell Bower is playing. I'm just keeping this away, just pushing it further and further away from us. Before we go into that, I have a tiny little bit, very cute little photo I want to share with you. This is Lian Vadam, Kemen himself, who has been spotted very recently in London. And so before we go to Jamie's role, I wanted to ask, anybody have any thoughts about the subplot that was cut out from in Numenor, and will there maybe be like a resurgence in it, and in which way? Because Kemen and Emilia Horvath's character, I'm blanking, Elendil's daughter,
Aarion.
Arian, yeah, thank you.
Arian.
We know for a fact that a lot of their scenes got cut out, especially in season 1.
Shafted.
Yeah, so do you have any theories about like the two of them and like what roles they could be playing, and or like their characters, obviously, what they could be playing? Ulmo, let's go to you. Do you have any theories about this, like kind of a side plot in Numenor, but I guess it will become more prominent as things kind of come to a clash, probably in season 3 and maybe in season 4?
I mean, you're asking the wrong person here. Because I will I will take care of them personally in a while, so it's all good. I really don't care what they do. It's already their fate has been sealed. I will take care of it. Don't worry about it. But I see. Okay, this is a side note, but I see that the Hearty Observer wrote something about how how it will start off in season 3. And I think we talked about it with Chiv and at least with Strider,
Ooh.
where I think we all kind of agreed that it was gonna be something with Celeborn and his how he got where he is now and stuff like that. I think if I remember correctly, that was something like that, but that's at least my opinion on that. So yeah.
I think I proposed a theory the last time we talked about Rings of Power, where I think that there's a high chance that Celeborn did die during the wars of the First Age, and when Glorfindel returns, which is a canon moment,
I'm gonna
where
mute you out of the
I see
stream
where
now.
you're going with this.
I'm gonna kick you out.
I see where you're going with this.
I'm kidding.
I know
Keep going.
it's not a popular theory, but I could easily see them just, when Glorfindel comes back from Valinor, he's got, and maybe they even amp it up. They have like a whole battalion of elves come from Valinor, and among them, maybe led by Glorfindel, and among them is Celeborn. So I don't know. Like I said, we talked about this more in depth. I don't really want to rehash it, but like I just struggle to believe that he's just out there doing his own thing. That doesn't make any sense to me. Him being a prisoner doesn't make any sense. We've kind of rooted out all of the different evil factions, and if Adar had him prisoner, it doesn't make any sense. Sauron obviously doesn't have him prisoner because he's just barely rising to power again. The Dark Wizard could have him prisoner, I guess, but I don't know. It just feels convoluted in every way. No matter, even if they do have him come back to life, it just like I've mentioned, it feels like a lose-lose situation. But I think at this point, I would just be happy to have him in the show in any aspect that I might be willing to hand wave how they handle it.
I mean, those are great points. I think, yeah, one of the toughest questions they will have to answer is, where was Celeborn? What happened to him? And I mean, you definitely covered this pretty nicely. Does anybody have any new theories? Shiv, I see you made a comment in the chat, so you can share
I
this
think
theory,
that
and then maybe you can go to some other theory, like if you have any other ideas. Where is this guy? Why is he like? And also the one thing I just have to say, the fact that he wasn't mentioned in confrontation between Galadriel and Sauron is like, why would you not comment on this at least in some way? Like, okay, or at least her brother, who was like the main reason for her chasing, I guess, Sauron. But I went on a bit of a rant here, so back to Shiv. Do you have any theories about this?
Yeah, it was the theories on Kemen, or are we talking about Celeborn right now?
Celeborn.
Celeborn, okay.
Well, as a character, and then we'll then go to who Jamie.
No, maybe we should do Kemen first, because otherwise we're gonna get sidetracked, and we've got his photo up.
Just like in the show, Kemen will be.
Yeah,
wow.
we're asking about if they're gonna include his storyline, and we can't even include it on our stream. So
He gets shafted in both.
All right, I'll
Actually,
stick
almost
to.
after this chaos, he just segued into like destroying Numenor. That's it. Like, dude.
you're right. Yeah.
Well, I don't think Ulmo will have a chance to destroy Kemen because I think Sauron's going to get to him first on Middle
Or it
Earth.
doesn't matter. That island is worthless to me, brother.
Oh god. Well, I'll try to stick to Kemen and Arian. It would be cool if they kind of rekindle that, because I'd love to see like a storyline where Arian like really badly betrays her family at the influence of Kemen. So I know they kind of like, there's been scenes where they're starting to show that, but I'm thinking like if she does something like egregious, and because we got the whole faithful versus the Kingsmen, so it'd be nice to see something very tragic play out with the influence of Kemen and Arian. So I look forward to that if they have that planned. But yeah, when you guys mentioned Kemen, I was like, wow, crap, I don't even remember Kemen at all in season 2. But I think that's because he was overshadowed by like all the epicness that was going on. Like we had so many great scenes, and I mean, now I guess I got to rewatch season 2 for like the 5th or 6th time. I'll do that.
I just remember Kevin because he had so many villainous moments this season. He was responsible for so many like moments that just made you like, ugh. But
oh yeah, the boat in Pelagier, right? That
and
scene.
he killed Valandil.
Oh yeah, how did I forget
that episode 5 was
Yeah,
fantastic.
that was the big moment. That's where Kevin became the butt of every joke in the Rings of Power communities. Everyone just was like, they wanted him gone
For weeks straight.
Yeah,
that's fair.
So
everybody was just putting him down.
I think there's going to be an interesting journey for Aarion here. I almost wish that they had committed a lot further to her going down the darker path in season 2, because I think a lot of it was based on her bitterness towards Isildur getting killed in Middle Earth. And now that he's back, I think that would make a really interesting juxtaposition to show like how does she handle it now, knowing that he isn't dead. I think her role is going to be when the White Tree. Oh, spoilers. I guess plug your ears if you don't want to hear about something that happens in the books in Numenor. But I think when Farazan decides to do what he's going to do to the White Tree, I think she's going to be the one that tips off Isildur and says, "This is going down tonight. We have to stop it." And Isildur is going to have his moment.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's where her arc ends.
The redemption arc starts,
that's where she
maybe.
becomes. Yeah.
And the comment that the Hardy Observer has on what we have on the screen right now, that's honestly a pretty good point. Like, we have a character that is like trying to, prove himself to his father, and like maybe he never gets to Farazan at all. So, you have some guy come up to him, "Hey, you wanna be powerful and rich beyond all means? Come on over to my side." So I think there's some motivation for Kemen to become Nazgul or be corrupted into Nazgul.
Sauron asking. No, I won't say it. But just tapping into.
Just don't make him the Witch King.
Tapping into Kemen's daddy issues, and being like, "Hey, you want to impress your father? Well, this is the way to go. Here's a ring. Trust me, bro."
Oh yeah,
totally not gonna backfire.
It writes itself at that point.
Yep.
I don't think Kemen's going to see his father again. I don't think he's making it back to Numenor, and I think he's going to have a ring on his finger by the end of the season.
Well, I think he will make it back to Numenor because he's with Isildur right now.
Is he getting married?
Is he?
I think they already.
I thought he stayed behind in Pelargir. Do I have to rewatch the season finale again?
Oh, you're right. Maybe he.
Oh, Kemen is in Pelargir.
I thought he stayed behind to look over the construction of
that's his new thing. I think
cities.
Yeah, I think he's the guy who's going to be in charge of Pelargir, basically.
Yeah, Sauron's going to get him good. Going to get him real good.
Point. Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was staying or if he was just dropping off soldiers. And
no, I think he's the new sheriff in town. Here we have I'm kind of switching again a little bit, but hard to observe with another great take regarding Aarion. These are two very opposite but very close to each other paths for this character. Imagine, like the one is what Aidan said, maybe she's the one that has like this moment where she, tips off Isildur, hey, this thing is gonna happen, and her character arc starts to like go towards some kind of redemption there, or she does this, or maybe there can be a combination of these.
I think she's going to do both. I think you can look at it at a glance and say, "Oh, building a Temple of Morgoth, that's straight up evil." Well, so are creating rings that ensnare the free peoples of Middle Earth, but Celebrimbor did it. I think that it's going to be the same thing where Sauron is going to use her ambition and desire to build and create things. And he might even do that same vision thing where she thinks she's building this beautiful temple and it's all like super elegant. And then she might even have that same like dream shattering illusion moment. And it's a horrifying, dark, disgusting building made for human sacrifice, and she doesn't even realize that she's been an instrument in creating it.
Wow. I think
that's what turns her.
I think the Hardy Observer wins MVP of the chat today. Like, these are two great observations. This is awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
I like that.
That realization of her building something so terrible and horrible and horrific could turn her to become like she was in season 1, back to the faithful, back to the original traditions, and then could help
Yeah.
Isildur with the apple and everything, or the seed. I can see that happening.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially because between these two moments, like there's a solid overlap that, yeah, as Aidan said, like both can happen very easily and can be like this very good kind of like uh, moving the scales up and down, so we don't know which way she should end up going. Like I think there's definitely room here for some solid
I
character
don't think
drama.
she's gonna make it off Numenor though.
I was about to
I don't
say.
think
No, I don't think
Arian's making it
I
off
was about to say
Numenor.
because yeah, like she's not a canon character, so the fact that this
Mhm.
is the fact this is the case, yeah, we have no idea what her fate is going to be. Honestly, I heard over all this several years at this point, one of the theories is that she might end up being one of the Nazgul, which it's said that they
Nazgul.
were like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it is said that they were great kings of men and sorcerers and so on, but I think that could be like a gray area to make this still respectable canon, but maybe make like the Nazgul a female character. Um, like corruption. I mean, I think it would be a bit wild, but still, as an idea, it's interesting, especially because in the Lord of the Rings online, they actually, I think, 3 of the Nazgul within this MMORPG are actually female. I do not know the lore behind it, but yeah, it's
They did the same thing with Shadow of War as well. Two of them are from, I believe, Rune, and they're both female Nazguls. So yeah,
Hmm.
it has happened.
oh, did they?
I mean,
Okay.
Shadow of War also had Shelob turn into a woman, which was we won't get into that.
Shadow of War had
But
Helm Hammerhand and Isildur as
as a
Nazgul, so
Nazgul,
it's
That was,
yeah,
I think, of all the things they did, having specifically. Actually, I'm not sure which one is crazier, Isildur or Hammerhand, because Isildur being one
Helm.
of the Nazgul is like when he's the guy
it's
who
so
kills
funny
like
because like people who
and then you have Hammerhand who was born
yeah
like
like
2,500 years later.
Hmm.
it's so funny to me when people use Shadow of War as an example to hate on Rings of Power as
Oh
like
yeah,
this is what Lord of the Rings should
Oh
be
my
is like
gosh, yes.
they use Celebrimbor from that and it's like if you even like spend 2 seconds looking into any of the ways they handle the lore in Shadow of War, don't get me wrong, fantastic
Yeah.
game. I love
Great
those games. They're
gameplay.
so much fun.
Mhm.
I love the story and the way they handle it, but like, come on. I mean, like,
It is funny though. The Celebrimbor in the Shadow of War and Mordor games is much more akin to Feanor than actual lore
yes.
Celebrimbor.
oh
And I
that's
think
great.
that was the
Yeah, that's
point.
that's a
Is
great
yeah.
comparison.
Mhm.
There's some guy in the chat
Yeah,
just
but-
throwing shade here, causing chaos as usual.
Hot Shelob.
Hot Shelob.
Who-
I mean,
Who would say something like that?
she's-
Jeez.
yeah.
I don't know.
I won't disagree. Um, oh, we have Priscilla
definitely
here in
not.
the chat. Hello, Priscilla. Nice to have you here. And I had to say, like, shout out to all 939 people who are with us at the moment. Pleasure to have you here. You keep showing up. It's always this, like, roughly the same number, and it's just very much appreciated that you all keep tuning in for this. Okay, I guess the time has come. Let's go to the favorite debate topic, or one of the favorite debate topics of Rings of Power fandom. Who is Jamie Campbell Bower playing? And let's start with Ulmo. What's your theory? Who is this handsome man playing in Rings of Power Season 3?
Okay, do I only have to say one name or can I say two?
You can give us your theories.
Okay, for me it
It can
has
be
to be an
plural.
elf. So it's either Glorfindel or Celeborn.
What about this one?
Oh,
Yeah, but you know, okay.
Interesting.
I don't want to give Lee Pace away to anyone else. Lee Pace is Lee Pace. So for me, he's probably the best elf that I've seen on screen. I just loved him, even though the movies were a bit iffy. But um, yeah, if Trendril comes back, I want it to be Lee Pace, even though it's a bit far fetched. But that's my dream.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a photo ready for actually I can just put it on right now. I think this is my favorite Chad Glorfindel photo. Like, look at this jawline. This is
Mm.
that's peak jawline shape. So
Oh my
okay,
gosh.
I think that's a pretty solid. That's a pretty solid claim, and definitely one of the more popular ones. Um, Priscilla here says Glorfindel of Celeborn. We know what you meant. All good. But let's go to Chris. What do you think? Do you have another theory?
It's a boring answer, but Celeborn. I think he's Celeborn. I can
Celeborn.
understand the Thranduil hopes though. I think he's a fantastic actor that could pull off both roles for sure. But I don't know, he has that aura that I think he's Celeborn. But then again, he could be Orfer, right? I mean, he could be Thranduil's dad. We might not even have to bring in Thranduil or Lee Pace or anybody. He could just play Orfer. I'm gonna throw this one out here too. He could play the Lord of Lothlorien, Amdir,
Oh dear.
before Lothlorien is handed over to Galadriel and Celeborn. You know, I think he could fit that role as well, even though we've never seen it adapted on screen before. There's a lot of different roles he could be playing. I would say Celeborn, Orfer's a possibility, Amdir's a possibility. Maybe Glorfindel, though I don't see Glorfindel coming into the picture before Celeborn does.
Actually, I have to say, I feel like I've seen a theory, or maybe this was some extremely odd this fever dream. I think that's the expression that I've had, but I think I saw the theory where so there are many ways the timeline goes with Galadriel and Celeborn and where they are, where they're not, at which time of Second Age, and so on. Especially in the Second Age. But the generally accepted canon is that they come at some point during the Second Age and take, or actually after the Battle of the Last Alliance, because the king Amdir that Chris just mentioned, um, he, spoilers, doesn't meet the happiest of fates during the Battle of the Last Alliance, and
Mm-hmm.
then they take over Galadriel and Celeborn. And he had a son Amroth, and
Mm-hmm.
this son later goes on to have a story of his own. But the theory I saw was, what if, and this is extremely out there, but what if Celeborn lost his memory or whatever, lost his memories, and he is basically Amdir, the king of Lothlorien, who has had an illegitimate son, Amroth, and
Oh
then
my gosh!
Galadriel comes back and he gets back. Like that's the theory I saw. It's like, wow, let's talk
Get out!
about getting like
Get
some
out the stream, Strider! Get out the stream!
Oh man.
getting some epic
Jeez Louise.
like teen
Do not
like
platform that theory. Do
teen
not
TV
platform that
drama.
theory.
It's insane. But I remember saying, I was like, if they put this on screen, I don't think Amazon would keep standing. um, yeah, I'm not saying I'm for this theory, by the way, but I just thought it was like just peak. I don't know, tragedy and drama. I don't know. That would be wild. But let's go to Aidan. What do you think? Or do you think something like this could
Let's
maybe be
see
in
what
store
kind
for us?
as a Sildor?
Well, as the third member, as the
Recast.
fourth member of this family.
Okay, Narian, yeah.
Hmm.
I think it's possible. I don't know. I mean, just look at him, man. He is like we talked earlier about how it's hard to typecast people because like you can fit so many different roles, but like Jamie Campbell, he's just
We need Ulmo in the house.
Smoke alarms are
We
going
get
off in my
Ulmo.
house. Hold on 1 sec. I let someone else talk for a second. I got to turn off the smoke detector.
Shiv, let's go to you.
The fires of Mount Doom. You're burning it. Okay.
Beacons are lit. Condor close range.
The beacons. Oh my god. I'm gonna just go on record saying a different thing every time we talk about him. That way, I can point back and say that I knew it. So Celeborn, yeah, probably. But my new random one's gonna be he's gonna be a random lord that we may not like an original character, I guess, that turns into a Nazgul. That's my new one. So I can clip this later on and say I knew it. So I'll go with that. But
Bower as Elf Lord number 3 is crazy.
there we go. Me and Chris are
I
on
mean,
record
It's
now.
not, my apartment is not burning down for a second time, so we're good.
The beacons are not lit anymore.
I think what I
Beacons have
was
been
gonna
put out.
say, yeah, I was gonna say he just looks too elvish to be, anything but an elf. But the thing I'm curious about is like, it's one of the things I love the most about Rings of Power, but it's also one of the things that I struggle with is that in many ways the show does feel very much catered towards people who know and understand the lore. But my problem is I often wonder if that's at the detriment of people who don't. Because imagine you're someone who's even just only watched the Peter Jackson movies. Like, how obvious is it who Celeborn is? He's only in the movie for a little bit. Galadriel vastly overshadows him in terms of importance and authority. Like, if you're just a moviegoer, you remember Lothlorien, you remember, oh yeah, that's the place Galadriel's in charge of. Celeborn is such a filler character in the movie. So, like, for you watching this without knowing the lore about Celeborn, who he is, he's been mentioned once in a throwaway comment in season 1, which was a tender moment. It was a nice moment. But, like, I'm so curious how they're going to handle this in a way that doesn't just feel like, because even that moment under the trees with Theo, where she's like, I had a husband once, it almost just feels so out of left field. Like, even for someone like us who we knew who Celeborn was, it was like, oh, okay, so Celeborn is in this show. All right. And so I'm just so, like, I'm so anxious to see how they're going to approach it and have it, like, him appear without it just feeling like, and here's Galadriel's husband, who is also here, and not just throw people for a loop. But I don't know.
He needs to be his own independent figure, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is he needs to be special without Galadriel being in the picture for us to
I
care
think
about.
they need to, like, I don't know that I really subscribe to him being a prisoner in Rune theory, but I think that might be the best way to handle it, because if Gandalf's story in season 3 is going to be him versus the Dark Wizard, if Gandalf is able to free Celeborn, they team up, they get to know each other. You can even add a little more background to, I mean, they know each other. You've got the famous the line in the Peter Jackson movies, the tell me where you speak with him. Like, they clearly have a history, they have a relationship. And so you could set it up there, build Celeborn as his own character, have him and Gandalf kind of be contemporaries in the season, and lead up not only towards Celeborn and Galadriel reuniting at the end of the season, but also Gandalf becoming involved. Because I did see that we want to talk a little bit about things we think might happen in season 3. One of the things that does happen around this time in the lore is the forming of the very first White Council meetings. And Gandalf is a part of that. So I could easily see if Gandalf is the one to bring Celeborn back with him. And, well, or maybe it's even Celeborn bringing Gandalf, because if Celeborn's the one who goes, hey, I know a little bit about what you are or where you came from, because I understand the sort of, well, a lot more than the Harfoots would about his history. He can be like, let's go back over here. I'm going to introduce you to the elves, and you can help us figure out how to deal with Sauron.
I mean, yeah, I could see that. I think again, the fact that they have put Gandalf in the east, that Celeborn is nowhere to be seen. God, I think he's dead, I guess, or mostly dead for you who get the reference. they might as well put him in Rune, even though it's like, how did he end up there? That's like, you went missing in World War II in like
This
in
is
France, and then
Oh.
you you're found like 200 years later in Australia, or
Yeah.
maybe not Australia, but like somewhere over there, like near Japan, basically.
Mhm.
Like it's so far away that it's crazy. But then again, like
Yeah.
the fact that they have made this plot line, and that they have cut him out of any other plot line,
Yeah.
they might as well. I think you said it quite. That's
This
quite a good.
Well, this is a great comment from Miki I'm thinking about, which is if he doesn't come over with Glorfindel, if Glorfindel comes over on the ships and he's leading an army, or even if he just comes back as himself to help them fight, there is that opportunity for Galadriel to ask, like, did you see my husband over there in the dying lands? And for Glorfindel to be like, no, he's not dead. We never saw him.
Mm.
And that could build up the tension on Galadriel's side to where, he doesn't just appear out of the blue at the end of the
He's still
season.
out there.
She's thinking about him all season, like, oh shoot, Celeborn is here somewhere. And like maybe now she's struggling with trying to be there for the elves and help them fight the war, but now she's feeling torn because, she did that whole escapade hunting Sauron to avenge her brother and, in some parts Celeborn, although she didn't say it explicitly. And now to know that they're still out there, I think could be a really interesting direction for her character to go in season 3.
The one thing for me is I feel like Jamie has, well, he definitely has the looks for an elf, so he could easily be Glorfindel or Celeborn. No issues there. Absolutely, he could play either one of those. But I do feel like he has a bit of an edge to him, a bit more
Mm.
than what I would maybe expect to. Like when I'm saying edge, I mean like maybe like a bit more of a darker undertone. Maybe it's because he played already this huge villain in Stranger Things, but I feel like he would actually be this really good Celeborn type because if he brought a little bit of not darkness, but again like edge to Celeborn, who in the movies he's one of the memes of the fandom basically because he's just known as Godric's husband, even though people who read the books, especially like those other books besides the Lord of the Rings, know a bit more. Like he is this very important lord of very high lineage. He is a commander of armies. He's the guy who was leading the defense of Eregion. He's the guy who led armies of Lothlorien in the third, or like towards the end of the third age, and so on and so on. So I feel like getting such an actor to play Celeborn, I feel like that it would be a very very strong thing to do. Let's see what Priscilla says here.
Shiv.
Orphan, no, Galadriel, Celeborn is not dead. You are simply a bad wife for this is
Oh, man.
a bad wife. I mean,
I think that edge,
yeah.
that edge that Jamie has, I think, could help him actually pull the role of Orpher off pretty well, because Orpher has an edge, a big edge against the Noldor. So
I've heard
I
a lot of
think if
people say
Jamie
that
could,
Orpher has a very big edge.
yeah.
I knew someone was gonna say
So
that.
I think, well, whatever. I think Jamie could pull that off either way, however big of an edge or whatever. Thranduil as well, which I don't want to see Thranduil if Orpher's alive, because I've read so much about Orpher being such a almost an enigmatic figure amongst the Noldor. The Noldor don't like him. He doesn't like the Noldor. Yet he puts those like that aggression aside during the War of the Last Alliance to help him. He then suffers for it, obviously. But the one thing that I'll say is Orpher or Amdir doesn't come into play during the War of Sauron and the Elves, according to lore. So we shouldn't see them here. Now, that's not to say they can't, just bring them in, but we shouldn't be expecting them considering they're not in it during the lore, But Celeborn was one of the leaders of Sack of Eregion, and he wasn't in it, so.
Yeah, that's gotta say I do agree with this. I mean, I agree. This ties well to this comment we have here, pinned Schrodinger's Celeborn.
I saw that.
or Schrodinger's streaming Campbell Bower, because we don't know, and we're not going to know for quite some time. Ulmo, how about you? Do you have any? We've been discussing this particular topic for a bit now, so I'm not even sure if we. It's all kind of jumbled. Did you have any takes on who Celeborn is or who Jamie is playing?
I
You
was
want
the
him to
first
play
one to
you?
answer.
Maybe play the god of the Valor of the Sea.
No. I'm getting cast for that. I'm growing the beards. I'm not that old, but I'll look like it. It's fine. But for me, he's either playing Celeborn or Glorfindel. That's it. I'm not gonna say Thranduil because he's my baby and I don't want anyone to touch him. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Fair enough. I'm curious what people in the chat say. I think there was definitely a lot of Celeborn. And Glorfindel got mentioned several times as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping they don't just make Celeborn's whole personality him hating dwarves, because that seems to be the main takeaway a lot of people have.
The main takeaway, yeah. I mean, I don't think that should come into play that much necessarily during the battle. It would be interesting to see. But yeah, hopefully they don't. If they give this thing to him, like hopefully they don't overplay it. I agree with this. But if someone has some extra thoughts towards the end, or like later on, we can come back to it. But I just wanna do one other topic before we wrap up. What do you think? Where will Sauron be in the next season? And most importantly, will he be going to Numenor? What are your thoughts on this? Who would like to begin?
Sure.
What about you?
Sorry, who? Chris? Okay.
Chris.
Oh, Chris.
So would
So what was the
Sauron
question again?
go
It
to
was-
Numenor in season 3? Do you see this happening?
Yes, it's going to be the season finale. He'll be taken prisoner. I think they're going to actually condense the timeline again, where Pharazôn is the one that comes with the Numenorians to help the elves end the war of Sauron and the elves, and he's going to take Sauron prisoner and send him back to Numenor with him, because I think there's going to be this sort of dichotomy between the two of them, where Sauron in lore says that he's the king of man, and Pharazôn is, well, obviously the king of man in Numenor. So you have these two opposing figures going at one another. And considering what we saw with Pharazôn in season 2, and that he already knows of Sauron, I think it will be interesting to see those two go at it. And I think Pharazôn will be giddy to capture Sauron and bring him back to Numenor as prisoner. So I do think it will be a season 3 finale.
I almost wonder if they're going to end it in a way where the elves win a decisive victory against him, and then Numenor comes in to kind of sweep up the reward and capture Sauron, or if the elves are going to be on the brink of defeat and Numenor is going to come to save the day. I'm really curious which direction they're going to go with it.
Because in lore, it was Numenorians came in, kind of did both. They helped the elves, but they just destroyed Sauron's forces and drove them all the way back to Mordor and out of Eriador. So it'll be interesting to see which route they go. I think they might go the route with Pharazôn just coming in very late, like, hey, look at me, I did such a good job, and then he takes Sauron prisoner. That seems how Pharazôn would act in this season.
I think
series.
Kemen will play a big role in that. I think that might actually be how I think Sauron's going to orchestrate his own capture and his own defeat. And I think that he's going to somehow manipulate Kemen into being the person who convinces Pharazôn to send aid to Middle-earth, whether that's through stoking fear, through saying like, oh, we've cut down all these trees, we're getting so much resources, and this guy Sauron over here, he's going to destroy it all. We're going to lose all this good stuff, all these resources and minerals and ore and lumber, and he's going to destroy everything we've built here. We need to stop him. Or if he's just going to corrupt him, maybe give him one of the rings. I don't know. I'm very, very
What are your
curious
thoughts?
how they're going to do it, because so much of season 1 and Miriel going to Middle Earth to fight Sauron was kind of used by Pharazôn as like his reasoning as to why she wasn't fit to rule, is she sent all those people to their deaths pointlessly. And so I'm really curious how they're going to flip that around to where he's now okay with sending people to fight in Middle Earth.
What about you?
Who did you say? Sorry.
Said you.
Oh, me. Oh, perfect. I kind of agree with what everyone said so far. I kind of really like that theory of Kemen being manipulated into capturing Sauron, and yeah, I could totally see that happening. So I think someone said earlier in the chat potentially about the season starting with a big battle. I kind of like that. That could be an interesting way to start. Is like War of the Elves is in full swing. We get an awesome epic intro. I guess I should say too, because I've been a fan of this. I love the prologues at the beginning of each season. So I wonder if we'll get that this time around and what it would be like. Focused on Galadriel season 1, Sauron season 2. Who maybe that's a question we can pose to everyone. Who would be the
I've heard
focus for
someone
season
say
3?
that. I mean, I posed this question a while ago where they talk about how this show is a rotating cast of where a different person is kind of at the lead, and I think the prologue always reflects that. So season 1 was Galadriel. Season 2, some people say Celebrimbor, but I think it was actually Sauron. I think Sauron is the main, is the antagonist, protagonist, deuteragonist, whatever you want to consider him for season 2. He had the prologue. Season 3, I think, is going to be Elrond's story. I think he's stepping up in a major way to lead the elves. I think he's going to get Vilya by the end of the season. I see him forming the White Council. I think he's going to be a commander. He's setting up Rivendell. There's going to be a lot of emphasis on him. Season 4, I think, will be Elendil, and season 5 will be Isildur. But beyond that, just focusing on season 3 for now, I think there could be a flashback with Elrond and Elros, and it could kind of set up more of the ties between the elves and Numenor, especially if Numenor is going to be more prominent in season 3 and 4. Moving on. We mentioned this a lot. Numenor has a lot of work to do to get people to care about it. I see, even today in the chat, I saw someone say, I don't care about Numenor. That sentiment is running like wildfire through the fandom, and they need to change that fast, or the inevitable end of Numenor is just going to flop. No one's going to care about it. And it's supposed to be one of the most impactful, dramatic moments of the Second Age. So they've got their work cut out for them these next 2 seasons.
I agree with you on the Elrond main character vibes, because like there is a battle that happens in the War of Sauron and the Elves where Sauron attacks Rivendell, or I think it's called the Siege of Imladris, and Elrond is able to push him back. It's a pretty significant feat that Elrond is able to push back Sauron's forces. So I think there's a lot of room for Elrond to be not only main character, but also just have so many impactful moments this season. I hope they go that route for sure.
I like that.
Well, I've been trying to get a good photo of Elrond, but my computer decided to stop working with me, so we will not be doing that. But yeah, I think this theory about Elrond, I mean, I think that is probably one of the things we will see, and I wouldn't be surprised if Siege of Imladris happens earlier in this season, because yeah, like it is important. We need to see this Elrond as a warrior as well, and he kind of started showing this side of him, though I don't think they portrayed this necessarily in a very convincing way. I feel like the battle struggled at some parts. Like the execution of the battle wasn't the best. I'm referring to the Battle of Eregion, the Fall of Eregion. But they started going this way, and I think they could, they could be doing this in this season. So I think your guess might be on point. Yeah, I think we will be wrapping up here soon. So Ulmo, do you have any final thoughts?
Not really. I think that we all spoke enough.
The man of few words.
Indeed. Aidan, what about you?
I agree with what Umel says. I think I've spoken enough, but I mean, again, I'm excited. You know what? I've gone full circle. I am now once again more excited than Shiv and Chris for that matter. I am
Wow.
I am the most excited person in this call again. Talking about it for an hour and a half has rekindled and reminded me of how much I enjoy this series and how excited I am. Again, like you said, now that principal photography is beginning, I really hope we start to get more, hopefully not spoiler leaks, but just set photos, casting announcements, just little tidbits to kind of sink our teeth into. You can see clearly we've got so many pent up ideas and things we need to get off our chest because we were able to take two probably side characters being cast and turn it into, an hour and 30 minutes of deep dive discussion. So I'm excited to see the kind of conversations we're going to get to have in the next coming year or so, or however long the lead up is to season 3.
Very exciting. Yeah.
All right. Shiv, what do you have to say about all of this?
All I have to say is I am really excited for season 3. Season 2 was a huge step up from season 1. I'm definitely one of those that enjoyed season 1. I think I watched season 1 over 10 times now. So love season 1. Season 2 was great. Like, I guess my final thought is I'm kind of bummed that we lost a couple of major characters in season 2. Like, maybe we get some flashbacks to Celebrimbor, but like we lost Celebrimbor and we lost Adar, which were, two powerful heavyweights of season 2. So I wonder who's going to fill that void for season 3.
That is a great point. I'm also very curious about this. But let's see. I think we can
did see
close
someone-
off this stream.
I did see
Yeah.
someone just mention, just barely, Max, talking about season 3 always being a crucial moment for the show. I think that is also important to emphasize. I mean, I've heard some people say, I mean, the odds of Rings of Power being canceled are a lot lower than normal shows due to the nature of the contract that they have. But regardless, I think season 3 is the turning point to where if they continue after season 3, we will get all 5 seasons because it's kind of just the nature of being closer to finishing the project after that. Like if season 3 is let's like worst case scenario, one person watches season 3. Shiv's the only person in the whole world that watched it and no one else sees it. And Amazon is like, I guess we got to cancel this show. I feel like that's the last moment they could possibly be like, the cost that we're going to have to pay to the estate to cancel this contract outweighs the price of just making the next 2 seasons. So I think season 3 does have that, responsibility of really picking up steam and building off of what's been established.
Yeah,
I think
I think that's a great point. The show probably isn't in danger at this point because if the season 3 is happening, they might as well finish the show. It will, and like this point about it being a bit more, basically more expensive. If they cancel it, then if they just finish it, I think that's a great point. But yeah, I think we have kind of covered a lot of good things from many angles this this stream. So I would like to just give one more quick mention before we wrap up to this Save Wheel of Time campaign, because yes, I am a fan of the show and I will be abusing my powers here. I sent it once again in the chat. You can see here a lot of people have already signed. All right, maybe we should see if the numbers have changed since the previous time. Yeah, actually, yeah, 200 people signed up since we started the stream. So there we go. Let's keep at it. Here you can see how well this show has ranked, how this third season of this show has ranked this year. It has done terrifically, and as you can see here as well, like compared to the other biggest fantasy TV shows, it has done really well. So do us a favor, even if you're not a fan of the show, please go and sign the petition. And with this, I would like to thank Ulmo, Chris, Chiv, and Aidan. Thank you all for being with me here tonight. We made this work, and also shout out to Harry who helped us prepare the stream. Yeah, Ulmo, any final words?
I will be back in a few seasons.
All right, Chris, thank you for being with us. Your first stream, much appreciated. I think you did super well. It was absolutely a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to have you around with us. A lot of cool theories, a lot of cool comments. So yeah, thank you, man.
Thank you. It was awesome. Glad to be here. Can't wait to be back.
Perfect. I'm sure we'll have a chance very soon. Aidan, absolutely a pleasure, man. You've been absolute star in recent months, so thank you for being with us as well.
Thanks. I'm happy to be a part of it. I feel more indoctrinated now that I've done a couple streams.
Perfect. We're getting you there. And of course, my man Shiv, the funniest man in all the streams. Absolute pleasure always to have you around, especially for your witty remarks in the chat. Always appreciate it. Always like to point them out on screen. Thank you so much, man, for being with us.
Thanks as always for having me. It's always great to have a show with Strider. We were there, last year with the Batman, House of
We
the
were there
Dragons,
3,000 years ago.
3,000, yeah, we were there 3,000 years ago. So it's always great.
Dune.
Strider makes and Dune. Dune Prophecy. That's another show that was really good. I look forward to that when it comes out. But yeah, it's always great having Strider and for hosting today. It was awesome, and yeah, I look forward to more Rings of Power chats. Filming starts, so we're gonna start getting leaks hopefully, and have a lot to talk about. So I look forward to it.
Same. And well said. And yeah, of course, a huge thank you to everybody who has been with us. It's 1,121 people have been with us, are with us right this moment. That's definitely a big, a lot of people who have been with us. So thank you so much. Thanks to everybody. Thank you, everybody. Please remember to like the video. It helps out. Maybe do a couple of comments. Go save, go sign, save Wheel of Time. Please do us all a favor. We need this TV show on our screens. And yeah, thank you all so much. We'll see you very soon, maybe with some other news. Until then.